Join me for a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we're deeply grateful that you brought us to this beautiful and joyful morning. And as the graduates receive their diplomas, cadets receive their hard-earned awards, and some are commissioned in the United States Army, I pray you enable them to reflect upon the relationships, the lessons they've learned, and carry those with them as they leave here and continue their journey, become the leaders our world, our nation, our military, and our communities so desperately need. Enable them also to seek the strength, the wisdom, and caring. Now, Father, we want to acknowledge you as the giver of so many good gifts in our lives. And we commit these ceremonies to you now in your Son's holy name. Amen. Please remain standing as Cadet Black Carroll leads us in the national anthem.
Distinguished guests, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, friends, faculty, staff, 32nd Cadet Corps, and graduates, welcome to our commencement ceremony in 2012. You all have a lot to be proud of. A few weeks ago, we dedicated a new statue on campus, on the right in front of the administration building, the new dragon statue. And that was donated by Mr. Dave Nassau from the class of 1961. And if any of you have been by to see that statue, there's a plaque on the front. It does not say this. It doesn't just talk about Mr. Nassau. He dedicated that statue in honor of one of his friends and mentors and fellow cadets from the class of 61 from Jimmy Tucker. Mr. Nassau said that when he came to Wentworth, he was lacking in self-confidence, was a little bit out of shape. He didn't really know where his life was going. And when he got to campus as a rat, as all of you who've been in the Cadet Corps, you've all been in that position, he said that Jimmy Tucker's the one who showed some interest in him, he gave him some words of encouragement. He kind of put him on a path of where he knew that he could reach his potential both at Wentworth and beyond. When Mr. Nassau left Wentworth, he went to Northwestern University in Chicago, got his MBA at Kellogg, had a very successful business career. He actually just sold his interest in the Oakland A's baseball team. But when I was out in San Francisco visiting him about 2 years ago, what he wanted to do was something to honor his friend and mentor and kind of got him on that path. And when I look at the Cadet Corps, just about every year, when I see what you've done this year, and I see the relationships, it's between you. I see how you interact. And I can see some of those relationships just as Jimmy Tucker and David Nassau had 50 years ago. And sometimes you might not appreciate it now, but even hearing you talk and visiting with you, I know that many of you have had the same impact on other cadets, and that's something that's going to live on in future years. And that's something that's very unique to Wentworth, and it's something that it encourages me to see that. And so I congratulate you on the fact that you carry on that tradition. I'd like to introduce some of the guests here on the stage. Before that, there are a couple of guests in the audience that I would like to introduce. Jake Werner and Ryan Novak in the audience. You stand up on the bleachers at the top. They're two of our Falcon scholars from last year, just completed their first year at the Air Force Academy. I'd like to welcome them back to campus. We just got some big news at Wentworth this last week. General Mark Welch, who's commander of Air Europe, was a member of the very first Falcon class at Wentworth in 1971-72, and he's just been nominated to be the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, so he'll serve on the Joint Chiefs of Staff and be the top officer in the Air Force as a 4-star general. So that's something that we're very proud of. Ryan and Jake are continuing that tradition. We had 2 Falcon scholars this year. We'll be recognizing Hunter Richardson a little bit later tonight. Unfortunately, Gus Jensen had a medical procedure that had to be done before he's heading back to the Air Force Academy, so he can't be here today. I'd also like to have the 4, I believe there are 4 or 5 second lieutenants who have been commissioned through Wentworth. Could you please stand up? Up in the top row, we've got 4 of them up there. Some of our recent graduates who were commissioned through Wentworth and now serving their country and continuing their education. So welcome back to you. Now on the stage, beginning on my far left and your right, first row, Lieutenant Colonel Darren Fitzgerald, our Professor of Military Science, Mr. Alejandro Siqueiros, Coordinator of Economic and Cultural Affairs and Services to Foreigners at the Consulate of Mexico, Congressman Ike Skelton, former United States Representative, 4th District, Missouri, former Chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, Wentworth Class of 1951, Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver, United States Representative, 5th District, Missouri, Colonel Michael Learman, Superintendent, Class of 1973, Colonel Richard Cottrell, Director of Operations, Colonel Tim Casey, College Dean, Lieutenant Colonel Joe All, Vice President for Academics. The second row, from my far left and your right, Ms. Becky Markley, Executive Assistant, Major Kevin Farley, Public Relations Officer, Major Jackie Worthington, Human Resources Director, Lieutenant Colonel Dan Ryan, Vice President for Development, Lieutenant Colonel Tom Hughes, Athletic Director, Lieutenant Colonel Bob Harmon, Director of Missions, Major Christina Stark, Director of International Programs, Major Jackie Fritsch, Director of Business Services, First Sergeant Gary Willis, Commandant, Major Ed Fiora, Senior Common Instructor. And now I'd like to introduce the person who will be introducing our commencement speaker today. And you really need to know the introduction of him. Congressman Ike Skelton was born in Lexington in 1931. He grew up with my father. They both played on the streets of Lexington on the Wentworth campus while they were growing up. Both my father and I attended Wentworth in high school. I came back and finished college at Wentworth in 1951. Got his Associate of Arts here, just as many of you will be getting today. Following his time at Wentworth, he went to the University of Missouri and got his bachelor's degree and his law degree. He ran for prosecuting attorney in Lafayette County in 1957. Became one of the youngest prosecutors in the state of Missouri and in the United States. He served in the Missouri Senate for 6 years, ran for Congress in 1976, and spent 34 years as one of the true leaders of the United States, and especially a leader in military education and military affairs. The last 4 years he was in Congress, he was chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, and a great deal of influence on a lot of our military policies in the wars that we've been fighting in the last decade. It gives me a great deal of pleasure to be able to introduce Ike. I also have a personal relationship with him. I attended Wentworth with his 3 sons. I worked for Ike in Washington as an intern. I later ran his political campaigns back in 1992. And he's someone who I consider a true mentor and friend, and Wentworth considers him a true mentor and friend. So it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce Congressman Ike Skelton.
Thank you, Colonel Sellers. It's an added treat to me personally to call my former intern, Colonel Sellers. I am so downright proud of him and the continuation of the legacy in our Wentworth military family. Didn't seem that long ago I sat where you sat. My heart was pounding, hoping to receive a scholastic award, walking across the stage, and Colonel Sellers' grandfather handed me the diploma. It was a great moment in my life. And I hope that those of you who graduate today will feel the same as I did. It was a monumental moment. I always enjoy introducing a friend to a friend. I have the privilege today to introduce to you your speaker, who is one of my great friends, not just to me, but to my family. We served in Congress together, and I have known him for a good number of years. If you're to describe this gentleman, you were describing the words public servant, and you were describing with the word carrier. A true servant of the people, not just of his congressional district, but of our country. I'm downright proud to call him my friend. Originating in Texas, coming to Missouri after graduating from college, seminary, and building a church from the mere 70 the first year to over 2,000. This gentleman is former pastor of St. James Methodist Church in Kansas City, former 2-term mayor of Kansas City, and now third term in his stint in Congress of the United States. He works hard for the economic well-being of Missouri, for his district, and you can easily say he is a role model for young people to follow because of his attention to service, giving of himself, and being the stellar person that he is. It's my pleasure to introduce to you one of America's greats, all Missouri. The legislature changed the congressional districts recently, and the legislature placed this county in the 5th congressional district, and there's an excellent chance that this gentleman will represent us here in our hometown of Lexington. It's my privilege to introduce my friend to you, Congressman from the 5th District of Missouri, truly outstanding Missourian and American, the Honorable Emmanuel Cleveland.
Colonel Sellers, congratulations.
graduates, Congressman Skelton, anyone would celebrate just being introduced by Congressman Skelton. Graduates, I understand what's going on, so let me just break it down and get it over with. You are looking the way you're supposed to look on your graduation day. You're looking interested and profound, but you want out. I've done enough of these that I know how to look through the interested there and get down to where you are. So I'm going to move on quickly, and I hope that those of you who are sleepy, that you will at least try to sleep with your eyes open. You deserve a great congratulations for your graduation from Wentworth Military Academy and Junior College. And you ought to be proud that you have attended and graduated from one of the oldest institutions west of Mississippi. When Wentworth was originally established soon after the Civil War, in 1880, it did not have a military component. That soon changed under Principal Stanford Sellers. And in 1890, this institution was officially named Wentworth Military Academy. And as you know, since that time, Wentworth has earned a national reputation for educating cadets with military discipline and a propensity for academic excellence. Now, many of you will go on to become great military leaders, great citizens of this country. But our country is now at a crossroads, and your leadership is needed now more than ever. And so I'm going to say something a little different to you than you would probably expect at a commencement. During my first grade year, I was considered a troubled student. It seemed as if my teacher was on me every single day. On top of that, my classmates made fun of me, which caused me to develop a serious inferiority complex. The problem which caused all of the aforementioned chaos during my first grade experience was my noticeable inability to color inside the line. No matter how hard I tried, I just could not keep my ABCs inside the margins. Whether I colored a ball, a horse, or a house, it seemed as if hair was growing on its edges. So bad was my outside the margins problem and the ridicule which accompanied it that I considered dropping out of school in the first grade. With counseling, I remained in school. And even now when I go back home in Texas, some of my childhood friends still occasionally refer to me as outside the margins humanity. I was identified as a margins challenged student and spent time with the school psychologist. And then one day, in my sophomore year, Mrs. A.E. Holland, my English teacher, had me working on the paper. And as I worked on the paper in the library, I stumbled across a quote by the great Henry David Thoreau, which changed my philosophy and my psychology forever. The great sage wrote these words, and I quote, "I love a broad margin to my life." Yes. And then Thoreau went further. He said, and I quote,
success unexpected in commonalities. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he is a different trouble. And I realized after reading Henry David Thoreau that after all the years of being hit on my knuckles by my teachers, that I was really okay. And maybe a little special. And so I've lived with pride in a wide circle since. And today I feel no inferiority because of my wide margins. In fact, it has been my greatest advantage in life. A short time ago, I was booked on a flight to Allentown, Pennsylvania. I was going to speak at the Poconos, a retreat center in the Poconos. And not long after I boarded the plane, I became extremely irritated with the passenger. Subconsciously, as I sat on the plane, I thought about ways of doing something to him. I thought about, maybe opening up the hatch and dangling him out of the window, not killing him, not dropping him, just letting him dangle for a couple of 100 miles. Let me explain what caused my irrational volatility. The seating on this U.S. Airways 737 was 138 passengers. This plane, however, was virtually empty. Only about 20 passengers were on board. Because the passengers would be few, I calculated the space I would need to own during the 2-hour flight. And so I took the middle seat in a row with 3 seats, put my papers out in the seats, and was anticipating how delicious this flight would be with room on both sides, until I looked up and a man was standing in front of me saying, "You're in my seat." Graduates, there were 108 empty seats on the airplane. 108. But oh no, Mr. Inside the Margin had to sit exactly in the seat to which he was assigned. And so he sat down beside me and of course left. But there are folk who simply cannot function inside the margin. And I would suggest that the reason the United States of America has become the greatest nation in the history of the planet is because we have been populated by men and women who refuse to function inside the margin. In my real life, as a Methodist preacher, I think about Abraham, an example of graceful outside the margin but obedient living. Abraham was called and sent to found a new nation. He wasn't given a GPS or a map where all the roadside stops were. He was simply given the order to move, and he did. And because of the fact that Abraham accepted the responsibility to do what no other person had done, he is considered to be the founder of the Abrahamic tradition. And so the 3 monotheistic religions of the world all trace their rootage back to Abraham. Islam, Judaism, and Christianity all claim Abraham as the patriarch of their faith. And it was because he moved outside the margin. He went into an area that we know today as Israel. And it was a challenge to do what had never been done before. There are far too many men and women in our nation who will not move outside the margin. And they must, if we are going to compete. It is not acceptable that we rank 17th in science and 25th in math in the world. That is not who we are. We are the United States of America. And we can still serve this world by leading this world. In the Old Testament, there's a man by the name of And I don't like Methuselah. I want to announce that here for the first time. And I hope that you guys won't like him either. You can still go to heaven without liking Methuselah. I would call him man in the margins Methuselah. Based on the biblical record, Methuselah did little to improve the world around him. Now, he was not a bad fellow. He kept his lawn well sculpted, and his chariot was always neatly polished. He never did anything noticeably vicious or wicked, but he never did anything memorable or valuable or righteous either. Listen to the only mention in the entire Bible of Methuselah. And I quote, "And all the days of Methuselah were 976 years, and he died." Now Methuselah's life had length, but no good. And anyway, life is not about the age we reach, but the reach we seek as we age. Methuselah lived a long time, but for what? A narrow life is but an early death. Had he died years earlier, what would the world have missed? Methuselah looked inward. Abraham looked outward. Methuselah might have been afraid to launch out into the deep. Many people, perhaps Methuselah was one of them, are so faith fragile that they don't believe that they can absorb the blow from failure. A loser says that if I don't try, I can't fail. But a person who's bold says, if I don't try, I can't finish. I heard a preacher once say that he saw an epitaph on the grave that read, "He averaged well in the community." That was Methuselah's description. That was a narrow life. And so when you live that kind of life, you end up one day dying. People like me will have to do your eulogy. And if you do nothing in life, the minister struggles. And so the minister eventually says something like this. He stands up and he says, "Old Sam is dead. He was 78. Let us now please stand for the benediction." Abraham, according to our text, looked for a city that had a gate that would be built. And he did not settle for the insignificant. Shortly after my ordination, I was asked to preach in my hometown in Texas. And I was introduced by the host preacher as a model Methodist preacher. And when I went home and looked up the definition of the word model, I found that it means a small pattern, a miniature of something on a large scale. I had really been called a pee-wee preacher to my face. It was quite tragic. It is quite tragic for a person to go through life failing to become more than a miniature version of what they could actually become. And so a potential painter becomes a gallery. A potential carpenter becomes a handyman. A potential journalist becomes a neighborhood gossip. A great entertainer becomes a drug dealer. A great preacher becomes a complainer. No person will reach their maximum potential or contribute to the world through self-research who does not seek the invisible. Only when a person dares to look beyond that which is crystal clear and set forth with boldness will he or she have breath to their life. To be a creative value to the world, you, graduates, must be willing to accept that which cannot be seen and might even appear to be weird or dangerous. Remember this, no one will ever be honored for doing things always the way they were done. And if you look at the people who we honor today, you will find people like Ike Skelton, people who did what they should not, and people would not expect them to accomplish. Sometimes, when you get outside the margins, you are going to be uncomfortable. But you will be in quite elite company. Once, there were folk playing this hand of cards. And as they were playing, an observer scolded the winning couple by saying, you wouldn't have won if you played it right. Which means you wouldn't have won if you had played it the traditional way we play. And that's the only way we're going to get to the place we deserve to be as a nation, is if we don't play it right. Satchel Paige did not play it right. Nelson Mandela did not play it right. Mark Zuckerberg began his business called Facebook, and he wasn't playing it right. Nobody ever thought you could create a multi-billion-dollar business with a telephone. He didn't play it right. When Jerry Baldwin, Zed Siegel, and Gordon Honecker decided to sell drip brewed coffee, espresso-based hot drinks, and other hot drinks for $4 a cup, they were not playing it right. And that's why they are all billionaires today. Florence Nightingale didn't play it right. Sojourner Truth didn't play it right. Martin Luther King Jr. did not play it right. Jane Goodall did not play it right. General Colin Powell did not play it right. And that's why they reached the zenith of their profession. When I was elected to lead Kansas City, Missouri's municipal government in 1991, I was the only big city mayor in the country who grew up in public housing. When my socioeconomic background was explored, they saw nothing that believed anyone to believe that I could ever become the mayor of Missouri's largest city. In fact, all the indicators would point toward my inexplicable demise. But remember, I began flaunting my outside the margins leanings rather early in life. And so while the Kansas City Star said there is no Cleaver campaign, my opponent had $1 million. I had $87.37. And my wife told me that I wouldn't have to pay her back if I won. But I was outside the margin. And when you go outside the margin, you're able to do things that people don't expect, but that the world needs and demands. My suggestion to you, graduates, is to live out loud. Do something unconventional. Let me suggest that you consider inventing something like a skinless banana, see-through toilet tissue, reusable ice cubes, or a paper-mache tank. You can do that. You can do something that the world will pause to give attention to. And how did it start? It started here at Wentworth. One Sunday morning after church, a young boy came into my office and he said, "Red, how much did you get today?" And I said, hey, that's impolite. We don't ask those questions. He said, "Come on, Red, tell me, how much did you get today?" I said, "Hey, you know, your parents are not going to be happy if they knew that you were asking how much I got." And he said, "You don't understand." He said, "How much did you get when they passed that trail round?" He said, "I got a 10. And he pulled out a $10 bill. And so I just snatched it back. I said, "No, this is not the way this works." And he said, "Well, how much did you get?" Well, even though this young boy had the wrong understanding, the truth of the matter is he had said something powerful that I would like to share with you. As I interpreted what he said, it was, If you come to church, if you do something important, if you go someplace significant, you ought to get something out of it. Your mission, should you accept, is to leave from this graduation, getting out of Wentworth, all of the academic learning that would enable you to compete anywhere in the world, and then go in the world and live out loud, do something significant, and live outside the margins.
I'd like to thank so much Congressman Cleaver for honoring us with his presence today. This last year, redistricting took place in Missouri. For 34 years, Ike Skelton was the congressman from this district. And he did so much for Wentworth. He did so much for military education in the state of Missouri and in the United States, the Association of Military Colleges and Schools. With the redistricting, Congressman Cleaver will now be our congressman. And it's very gratifying for me to have him take up Ike's mantle. I've had a number of conversations with him over the course of the last year, and I'm just thrilled to be able to work with him on issues affecting both Wentworth and military education in the United States. We've got a small token of our appreciation that we're going to present to Congressman Cleaver. This medallion of honor was struck at the dawn of the 21st century to recognize those men and women who are leaders in their professions and whose singularly distinctive accomplishments have benefited the nation. It's appropriate to bestow the medallion of honor on national figures who have demonstrated outstanding leadership. Congressman Cleaver, in appreciation for your dedication and service to a grateful nation, for your support of Wentworth Military Academy College. It is with great pleasure that we present to you on behalf of the 132nd Corps of Cadets, our faculty and staff, this medallion of honor.
At this time, I would like to recognize three of our cadets who have successfully completed the requirements for the 8th grade and will be promoted to the 9th grade. So when I call your name, please stand. Elizabeth Bolter. Minso Choi. Mario Lopez. High school seniors. Rise. Right face. Forward march. If any of you would like to take photos, please move forward in the open area here in front of the podium, and you're more than welcome to take the photo. If you would like for us to pause for a minute and read through, we will. Please hold your applause until all of the seniors and college graduates have been announced. Nizer Al-Namari, Muscat, Oman. Joshua Allen Bryan, Lenexa, Kansas. Wing Chun Samson Chan, Hong Kong, China. Ben Stanton Davis, Windermere, Florida. Peyton Lindsay Dawson, Lawson, Missouri. She received a scholarship from the Carpenters District Local in St. Louis. Miguel Gutard Garcia, Barcelona, Spain. Ethan Cole Hanna, Bentonville, Arkansas. Brendan Michael Scott Arns, Orange County, California. William Henry Hertzberger, Little Rock, Arkansas. He has received a scholarship from Hendrix College. Mason Ryan Hines, Plattsburgh, Missouri. Reese King, Los Angeles, California. Caitlin Rose Lobdell, Orange Vale, California. Raya Nicole Mygat, Searcy, Arkansas. Julian Orloff, Palm Harbor, Florida. Miguel Angel Ortiz Garcia, Bridgewater, New Jersey. Eli Seth Rao, Ashley, Illinois. Blake Wallace Sanders, Leewood, Kansas. Marianne Cicero, Aurora, Illinois. Miguel Angel Torres Gamez, Saltillo, Mexico. Robert Wumu Kia, Kigali, Rwanda. Gianna Simone Vasquez, Detroit, Michigan. Matthew William Wyman, Springfield, Missouri.
Board of Trustees of Wentworth Military Academy and Junior College. I hereby verify that the candidates have met and completed the graduation requirements for the Associate of Arts degree or the Associate of Science degree and the rights and privileges thereof.
College graduates, rise, right face, forward, march. Jacob Daniel Carlson, Ripon, California. Shirley Thomas Cohen, Napoleon, Missouri. Caitlin Colbert, Columbia, Missouri. Morani Joseph Diemna, Chicago, Illinois. Ruben Liloki Pai, Chicago, Texas. Ronald Raymond Fife, Cameron, Missouri. Tessa Diana Gomez, Leawood, Kansas. Kathleen Simeachiba Gray. Stephen Daniel Heitmeyer, Andover, Kansas. Anthony G. Henley, Arrington, Kansas. Lucas Vincent Hobbs, Ripon, California. Kathy Farila Sonia Josefa, Pago Pago, American. Jacqueline Janet Eva Keener, Tafuna. Daniel Lee Dean, Lexington, Missouri. Madison Joanne Muncie, Raymore, Missouri. Ryla Nicole Mygat, Searcy, Arkansas. Daniel A. Otto, Everly, Iowa. Jesse Michael Porter, Odessa, Missouri. John Michael Ninjola, Ramos, Tinian, Northern Mariana Islands. Daniel Radlowski, Citrus Heights, California. Caitlin Ann Rivers, Kansas City, Missouri. Dalton Ray Spreedle III, Destin, Florida. Calvin Suadoa, San Antonio, Texas. David Young Son, Lawrenceville, Georgia. Michelle Deanne Trent, Lexington, Missouri. Zane Lee Westfall, St. Charles, Missouri. Adam Christopher Williams, Patton, Missouri. Andrea Leah Willis, Paducah, Kentucky. Jacob Hawk Wright, Springfield, Missouri. The next presenter is Colonel Michael Lehrman, Superintendent. Captain Linda Christian, please join us on the stage. The Oliver Family Recognition Award. Captain Linda Christian was born and raised in New York. Upon graduation from high school, she joined the United States Army. When her tour was completed, she and her family lived in New York before moving to Missouri to make her home in Hardin. Captain Christian attended Wentworth College and was co-valedictorian. She has been at Wentworth for 15 years. Captain Christian has 3 grown children and 4 grandchildren. As her position as library director, she has the opportunity to work closely with the cadets. She helps them look outside the box when doing research for papers, but not always looking in the obvious places. Captain Christian will show them how to use the resources available to them to maximize their knowledge and skills, boost their confidence, and test them on self-reliance. As yearbook advisor, she stresses the importance of time management and meeting deadlines. It is the yearbook staff's responsibility to have their assignments in on time while still producing quality yearbook pages. They are encouraged to brainstorm and use a team approach for formulating layouts and stories. This helps them to be open to new ideas and perspectives. She makes learning fun by incorporating hands-on projects with the lessons to keep them actively participating. It is with a great deal of pleasure to present this award to Captain Linda Christian. Chief Stryker, please join us on the stage. The Oliver Family Assistant Commandant Recognition Award. Chief Warrant Corps Ted Stryker entered the United States Army in 1982 as an Abrams tank crewman after a year at the University of Missouri. He became a helicopter pilot in 1985 and was stationed at Fort Riley as a medevac pilot. He attended the UH-1 test pilot course while there. The unit transitioned to Black Ops and was deployed to Honduras in 1988 and Panama in 1989. Chief Stryker was then stationed in Germany and immediately left for Desert Shield and Desert Storm. Upon returning from Iraq, his unit was deployed to Czechoslovakia to support the State Department. Other assignments included Naval Test Pilot School and posts to Fort Riley, Korea, Fort Bragg, Australia, Fort McPherson, and Fort Hood. Ed has 2 children, a daughter in her 2nd year at Baylor University and a son in his 1st year at the University of Central Missouri. Chief Stryker retired from the military in 2003 with nearly 22 years of active service. He settled in Warrensburg and came to work at Wentworth in 2005 as a TAC officer. Chief has held positions as TAC officers of several high school companies, exceeding at each assignment. He has also worked as high school teacher and would-be college instructor. Chief has also been the high school baseball coach for the past 2 years. This past semester, Chief Stryker was promoted to senior assistant commandant and night supervisor. He immediately increased supervision of the barracks, making night study hall periods much more productive. He started weekend training for all cadre members, putting his military knowledge and leadership skills to good use in the 132nd Corps of Cadets. Cadet room inspections have increased, and rooms are looking much better due to Chief Stryker's involvement. Chief's overall positive can-do attitude has significantly improved the good order and discipline of the 132nd Corps of Cadets. It is with great pleasure that we present this year's award to Chief Ed Stryker.
Would Connie Green please come to the stage? Connie Green graduated from Northwest Missouri State University and also earned a graduate degree from Northwest. She's been involved in the field of education for 45 years, starting in secondary education and 15 as a college instructor. Today we're going to give her the President's Award, which is really the top award that we give out to faculty and staff. Connie's retiring this year after 12 years at Wentworth, and she's made a huge impact on the school over those 12 years. She's always described as a tough teacher, but a fair teacher. And as I was visiting with some of the folks this morning, I was actually with Jake Wood and Ryan Novak, and visiting with Connie a little bit, and they had a camera, and I was thinking that they might be wanting to take a picture of me with the two of them. And they handed me the camera and said, "Would you take a picture of the two of us with Miss Green?" So I said, "Sure." And it's I understood completely that that's the kind of respect and loyalty that she gets from all of her students and has for the last 12 years. We were very sorry to see her go, but it gives me a great deal of pride to be able to present her the President's Award.
With the following cadets, please come to the stage in the order called: Richardson, Hanna, Dobson, Auberton, Willis, Heitmeyer, Ramos. The next presenter is Colonel Tim Casey, the Dean. The Falcon Scholar Program. The Falcon cadets being recognized today have successfully completed the requirements for the Falcon Scholar Program. Each of these two cadets has been accepted to the United States Air Force Academy for this fall. The Falcon recipients are Cadet Augustus Jensen from Norman, Oklahoma, who became ill and could not be here. Cadet Hunter Richardson from Jefferson City, Missouri. The next presenter is Colonel William Sellers and Colonel Michael Learman. The Major General John H. Little Salutatorian Award. This award was established in May of 2007 and is presented annually by the Academy in honor of Major General John Little, Superintendent and President from 2002 to 2007. The award is presented to the high school senior ranking second in their graduating class. It represents the outstanding dedication that Major General Little dedicated to academic excellence and to the Academy's mission. It is with great pleasure we present the Major General John H. Little Salutatorian Award to Cadet Command Sergeant Major Ethan Hanna from Bentonville, Arkansas. John H. Little Valedictorian Award. This award was established in May 2007 and is presented annually by the Academy in honor of Major General John Little, Superintendent and President from 2002 to 2007. The award is the most prestigious academic award the Academy presents to the top graduating high school seniors. It represents the outstanding dedication that Major Little dedicated to academic excellence and to the Academy's mission. It is with great pleasure we present the Major General John H. Little Valedictorian Award to Staff Sergeant Peyton Dobson from Lawson, Missouri. The next presenters are Congressman Skelton and Colonel Lehrman. The Susan Skelton Leadership Award was established in 2006 in memory of the late wife of the United States Representative Ike Skelton, class of 1951, from the 4th District of Missouri. It is with great pleasure that we present this year's award to Cadet Captain Amber Opperton from Ripon, California. The next presenter for Congressman Skelton and Colonel Sellers. The Ike Skelton Chief Honorable Award was established in 2010 in honor of Congressman Ike Skelton, U.S. Representative from the 4th District of Missouri. This award is given to a distinguished cadet who personifies the ideals of Congressman Skelton: honor, loyalty, leadership, academics, and integrity. Service to others and brings honor to Wentworth. The recipient should be a well-rounded cadet who has excelled in academics, athletics, leadership, and service. It is with great pleasure that we present this year's award to Cadet Major Andrea Willis from Paducah, Kentucky. The next presenter is Colonel William Sellers. The Jack M. Burr Memorial Award was established in 1930 in memory of Cadet Jack Burr, who died on March 31st, 1928 during his 3rd year as a cadet at Wentworth Military Academy. A bronze plaque was designed to perpetuate this award, and it bears a striking resemblance of Jack Burr. This plaque is located in the Hall of Honor area in Klondike Hall. The award is given for service, leadership, and loyalty. It gives us great pleasure to present the Jack Burr Award to Cadet Major Stephen Heitmeyer from Andover, Kansas. The Ted Mesmore Honor Graduate Award is presented annually to the junior college sophomore graduate who ranks in the upper 10% scholastically and maintains superior status in all other phases of academy life. For many years, this award included an appointment to the United States Military Academy at West Point. The award was memorialized in 1944 in memory of Cadet Ted Mesmore, who attended Wentworth Military Academy from 1939 to 1941. He became a fighter pilot and was killed over Sicily on September 9, 1943. it is with great pleasure that we present the Ted Mesmore Honor Graduate Award to Cadet Lieutenant Colonel John Reynolds of Gideon, Northern Mariana Islands. Throughout the year, there is a constant competition going on among the companies in the areas of scholastic, military training, and discipline. The winners in these areas are figured largely through mathematics. At the end of the year, an award is given to the outstanding company based on those and other additional factors. The award is sponsored by the father and son, who were both company commanders at Wentworth. Joe Besor, who commanded Alpha Company in 1946 and 47, and Neff Besor, who commanded Foxtrot Company in 1970 and 71. In the Outstanding Company Award, scholastic, military training, and discipline are certainly considered, but one of the major considerations is a unit performance and operation as a single entity. Factors impossible to arrive at by sheer mathematics. It is an intangible esprit de corps that makes a company a unit and enables it to accomplish things not being possible otherwise. This quality is difficult to measure by known formulas, but is readily evident to those working with such a unit. The factors that carry much weight are scholastic and military efficiency, company discipline, but above all, morale. It is with great pleasure we present the Besor Award to Alpha Company. First Sergeant Platoon Leader, please come forward. Executive Officer Cadet First Lieutenant Earl Manning, Sedalia, Missouri. Company Platoon Leader, Second Lieutenant Matthew Wyman, Springfield, Missouri. Company First Sergeant, Cadet First Sergeant Jordan Spence from Mesa, Arizona. At this time, the choir will have a number for us. this time, I would like to ask Lieutenant Colonel Darren Fitzgerald, a professor of military science, to come forward for the commissioning ceremony.
Thank you, Colonel Patrell. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to some of our special guests this morning, Mr. Sakitos, Congressman Skelton, Congressman Cleaver, the senior staff and faculty, 132nd Corps cadets, and most importantly, the family and friends that have come out this morning to view the graduation and commissioning ceremony. I'm the professor of military science here at Wentworth. I've been doing this job for the last 3 years. Colonel Sellers asked me, since this was my last tour, so to speak, if I would be the commissioning speaker this morning. And in a few minutes here, the senior cadets in the RPC program will become Ranger Second Lieutenants in the United States Army. So one task that's left for them is to take the commissioning oath, which reads, I solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God. I've had several cadets, whether they be high school students applying to the program or fully contracted cadets already committed to a mission, say to me the reason they wish to be an Army officer so that they can be part of something larger than themselves. That concept, being part of something larger than yourself, permeates the Army ROTC training. The officers and non-commissioned officers who help me run this program have reinforced this concept to all of these cadets as they've shaped them, molded them, trained them, coached them, taught them, mentored them, and on occasion adjusted their attitudes, while preparing them to become officers. And for my soon-to-be commissioned second lieutenants here this morning, the oath you're about to take, if you break it down into the individual parts, clearly defines how you are about to become part of something larger than your individual selves. And as a reminder to my MS4 cadets about citing your sources, the information I'm about to cover comes mainly from an article in the 2002 Air and Space Power Journal from U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Ken Kessler. Just remember that when you finish your degree somewhere else. That first part, I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. The commissioning oath requires the officer to support the Constitution as a whole, not the President, not the country, not the flag, not a particular branch, but the Constitution, that concept of the United States Constitution. If you compare it to its Soviet counterpart, my apologies to Cadet Rasmussen, which states the officer will unquestionably carry out the requirements of all military regulations and orders of commanders and superiors. The United States does not require unquestioning obedience of its officers. It gives that opportunity and flexibility for innovation, a wide margin, if you would, sir. That flexibility, however, does require a significant amount of responsibility and accountability for one's actions. Actions are going to take part in something that's larger than yourself. Second passage, that you'll defend that Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Officers in the United States military need to look toward the future, identifying all threats, not just the obvious ones. The most clear example in recent history would be on September 11, 2001. So you need to be looking forward, identifying those things which aren't even obvious to you at this time. Third passage, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. The oath ensures allegiance to the Constitution as a whole, rather than to their specific branch of service or organization. In the Army specifically, this concept is embodied in the Army value of selfless service, where the expectation is the officer puts the welfare of the nation and their fellow soldiers ahead of their own self-interest. The next passage, I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. This originated during the Civil War in an effort to ensure soldiers would not defect. It was an attempt to guarantee loyalty. However, loyalty integrity of the individual soldier. Integrity, another of the Army values, is at the core of all military services. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, all of whom share the same commissioning oath, by the way. And the maintenance of that integrity is implicit in this oath that these officers will soon take, and it will guide you when you face conflicts of interest and the choices of the harder right, the easier wrong, which I'm sure is something you've all heard here at one time or another. The next passage, that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter, speaks directly to the Army value of duty. Officers need to be proactive. We need to perform our duties to the best of our abilities, master the assigned tasks of our specialty, whether it's military police, artillery, ordnance, chemical, infantry, armor, whatever your branch may be, and build the depth and breadth of those abilities as you progress in rank through the service. These duties must be executed in good faith, adhering to the principles of loyalty and integrity as described in the previous portions of the military commissioning oath. And finally, the last part, so help me God. Our actions have a moral and, depending on the individual, even religious implications. The words, so help me God, are an assertion of that individual officer's sincerity, however they take those words to mean to themselves, but their sincerity to undertake the duties of military service. So for my MS4s that are commissioning today, or later this summer, and for the MS1s, 2s, and 3s that will be commissioning later, when you take this oath, you will definitely become part of something larger than yourself. You'll have assumed an immense set of responsibilities and obligations, and from this point forward, your actions, choices, and decisions will have a much more far-reaching and significant impact. Now, for all the future lieutenants seated here, I'll leave you with some words of wisdom to take with you as you commission, whether it be today or later. Some of you have already heard this on the first day of my class if you were paying attention. Know and obey the standard. Keep your commitments. Take the initiative and operate inside the commander's intent. Learn from, but do not repeat your mistakes. And the last one, leave a legacy of excellence. And with that, on this beautiful spring morning, I would now like to proudly welcome the Wentworth Commissioning Class of 2012 to the profession of arms.
Wentworth Commissioning Class of 2012, on your feet. Post.
At this time, each newly commissioned lieutenant will be receiving their commissioning certificate.
Second Lieutenant Amber Alderton. Second Lieutenant Michael Blackman. Second Lieutenant Jacob Carlson. Second Lieutenant Caitlin Colbert. Second Lieutenant Stephen Heitmeyer. Second Lieutenant Anthony Henley. Second Lieutenant Lucas Hobbs. Second Lieutenant Jacqueline Eaton. Second Lieutenant John Ramos. Second Lieutenant Daniel Rasmowski. Second Lieutenant Zane Westfall.
The next part of the commissioning ceremony is where each of the individual lieutenants will have their second lieutenant shoulder cords pinned on by their friends and family members. They'll also receive their silver dollar salute. Before we move on to that, however, Cadet Willis, just step right there in the center since you're already standing. Cadet Willis will be commissioned this summer after she completes the Leader Development Assessment course, which she'll be our 12th lieutenant in the class of 2012. The first salute that the lieutenants will receive, the tradition has come to be known as the Silver Dollar Salute. And that tradition, a newly appointed officer giving a silver dollar to the first enlisted person that salutes them has its roots in the British regiments that were originally stationed in colonial America. The salute itself demonstrates the deference and senior rank of the individual being honored. Newly commissioned British officers were assigned an enlisted soldier to train them, teach them the regiment's history and traditions, and ensure that the lieutenants put them at appropriate standards. Grateful lieutenants often express their gratitude by informally compensating the enlisted soldier with a small sum of money. In 1816, American second lieutenants received a monthly pay of $25, $3 for rations, and $1 for an enlisted advisor. Lieutenants today are no longer assigned an advisor, but the responsibility for teaching the newly commissioned officer is embodied today in the unique relationship formed between a second lieutenant and his or her first platoon sergeant. This morning, the awarding of the silver dollar for the first salute symbolizes the new lieutenant's acknowledgement of the enlisted soldier's knowledge and expertise in which they desire to learn, which they will then compensate that soldier $1 silver, representing the historical amount paid to that enlisted advisor almost 200 years ago. Amber Overton, Second Lieutenant, Transportation. Second Lieutenant Amber Overton was born in Susanville, California on March 24, 1992. She is the daughter of William and Annette Hitchcock of Ripon, California. Upon graduation from Wentworth Military Academy, Second Lieutenant Officer will serve as a transportation officer in the Kansas National Guard, and she will be attending the University of Missouri, Kansas City, where she will study towards a Doctor of Pharmacy. Pinning her bars on today is her father, William Hitchcock, and her brother and sister, William and Helene Hitchcock. And presenting the Silver Dollar Salute to Second Lieutenant Officer is her mother, Prior Service Lance Corporal Annette Hitchcock. Michael R. Blackman, Second Lieutenant Field Artillery. Second Lieutenant Blackman was born in Atlanta, Georgia on December 19, 1991. He's the son of Jack and Lisa Blackman of Dallas, Texas. Upon graduation from Wentworth, Lieutenant Blackman will serve as a Field Artillery Officer of the Louisiana National Guard, where he will be attending the University of Louisiana and studying towards a bachelor's degree in history. Pinning his bars on today are his brother, Chris, and his other brother, Second Lieutenant Rasmussen. And presenting the Silver Dollar Salute to Lieutenant Blackman is Sergeant Blackman. Jacob Daniel Carlson, Second Lieutenant, Engineers. Second Lieutenant Carlson was born in Walnut Creek, California on August 13, 1991. He's the son of Dan and Christy Carlson of Ripon, California. Upon graduation from Wentworth, Lieutenant Carlson will serve as an engineer officer in the Oklahoma National Guard. He will be attending Oklahoma State University, where he will study toward a bachelor's degree in fire science, safety, and protection engineering technology. Pinning his bars on today are his father, Dan Carlson, his grandmother, Grace Carlson, and his fiancee, Jessica Beckstead. And presenting the Silver Dollar Salute to Lieutenant Carlson, his Private First Class, Leslie Carlson. Caitlin Chastain Colbert, Second Lieutenant, Adjutant General. Second Lieutenant Colbert was born in Jefferson City, Missouri on April 3, 1992. She's the daughter of Graciela Vasquez of Santa Barbara, California, and David Colbert of West Plains, Missouri. Upon graduation from Wentworth, Lieutenant Colbert will serve as an Adjutant General Officer of the Louisiana National Guard, where she will be attending the University of Louisiana Lafayette and studying towards a bachelor's degree in psychology. Pinning her bars on today is her father and Cadet Andrea Willis. the Silver Dollar Salute to Lieutenant Tolbert is her mother, Sergeant Graciela Vazquez. Stephen Daniel Heitmeyer, Second Lieutenant, Ordnance. Second Lieutenant Heitmeyer was born in Wichita, Kansas, on April 11, 1991. He's the son of Dan and Gail Heitmeyer of Andover, Kansas. Upon graduation from Wentworth, Lieutenant Heitmeyer will serve as an ordnance officer in the Kansas National Guard, where he will be attending Kansas State University and studying for a bachelor's degree in Management and Information Systems. Pinning his bars on today are his mother and father, Dan and Gail Heitmeyer, and his brother, David Heitmeyer. Presenting the Silver Dollar Salute to Lieutenant Heitmeyer is Private First Class Joshua Magwell. Anthony Dr. Henley, Second Lieutenant, Field Artillery. Lieutenant Henley was born in Fort Lewis, Washington on July 11, 1992. He's the son of Ronald and Denise Henley of Harrington, Kansas. Upon graduation from Wentworth, Lieutenant Henley will serve as a Field Artillery officer in the Kansas National Guard. He will be attending the University of Central Missouri, where he will study toward a bachelor's degree in pre-physical and pre-occupational therapy. Pinning his bars on today are his mother, Denise, and his girlfriend, Allie Dunlap. Presenting the Silver Dollar Salute to Lieutenant Henley is Command Sergeant Major Frank McGonigal. Lucas Vincent Hobbs, Second Lieutenant, Military Police. Second Lieutenant Hobbs was born in Modesto, California on July 16, 1992. He's the son of Vince and Stephanie Hobbs of Britain, California. Upon graduation from Wentworth, Lieutenant Hobbs will serve as a military police officer in the California National Guard. He will be attending California State University, Sacramento, where he will study toward a bachelor's degree in business. Pinning his bars on today are his mother and father, Stephanie and Vince Hobbs, and his brother, TJ. Presenting the Silver Dollar Salute to Lieutenant Hobbs is his grandfather, Fred Brecker. Jacqueline Keener, Second Lieutenant, Quartermaster. Lieutenant Keener was born in Honolulu, American Samoa on January 26, 1992. She's the daughter of Rosa Felice and James Keener. Upon graduation, she will serve as a Quartermaster officer of the Louisiana National Guard. She will be attending Louisiana State University are studying towards a bachelor's degree in the Physician's Assistant program. Pinning her bars are her father, James Keener, and her mother, Tassie Keener. Pinning her bars on are Mr. James Keener, Mrs. Tassie Keener, Charlie Keener, Tiana Keener, Kathy Josefa, and James Jackson. Presenting the Silver Dollar Salute is Sergeant Janika Jackson. John Michael Mendiola Ramos, Second Lieutenant, Field Artillery. Lieutenant Ramos was born in Saipan, Northern Mariana Islands, on August 26, 1992. He's the son of Hermes and Luis Ramos of Tinian, Northern Mariana Islands. Upon graduation from Wentworth, Lieutenant Ramos will serve as a Field Artillery Officer in the Louisiana National Guard. He'll be attending Louisiana State University, where he'll study for a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. Pinning his bars on today is David Heitmeyer, Gail Heitmeyer, and Stephen Heitmeyer. Daniel Heitmeyer. And presenting the Silver Dollar Salute to Second Lieutenant Ramos and his Private First Class Joshua Manguel. Daniel Rasmussen, Second Lieutenant, Hamilton. Lieutenant Rasmussen was born in Sacramento, California on March 7, 1991. He's the son of Slava and Leah Rasmussen of Sacramento, California. Upon graduation from Wentworth, Lieutenant Rasmussen will serve as a chemical officer in the Louisiana National Guard. He will be attending the University of Louisiana in Lafayette, where he will study for a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Pinning his bars today is his second mother, Brenda Muncie, and his brothers Michael Blackman and Adam Williams, which appears to actually be Adam Williams and DJ Streetel. Presenting the Silver Dollar Salute to Second Lieutenant Rasmussen, Specialist Daniel Otto. Zane Lee Westfall, Second Lieutenant, Field Artillery. Lieutenant Westfall was born in Springfield, Missouri on July 24, 1990. He's the son of Mark and Karen Westfall of St. Charles, Missouri. Upon graduation from Wentworth, Lieutenant Westfall serves as a Field Artillery Officer in the Kansas National Guard. He will be attending the University of Missouri, Kansas City, where he will study toward a bachelor's degree in history. Pinning his bars on today are his mother and father, Mark and Karen Westfall, and his brothers, Zach and Zeph Westfall. Presenting the Silver Dollar Salute to Lieutenant Westfall is Corporal Freeman Rand. the new commissioned lieutenants and their friends and families, there will be a reception following the completion of the commencement exercise in the Hall of Honor. Thank you.
I'd like to recognize Colonel Fitzgerald for his service to Wentworth over the last 3 years. I did ask him to be our commissioning speaker today. I thought it was very fitting that he be the commissioning speaker today. He's been an outstanding professor of military science at Wentworth. He came in shortly after I came in as president in July 2009. The young second lieutenants that he's recruited over the last 3 years have just been outstanding. I cannot be prouder of the ROTC program that he has put together, the foundation that he's laid for the future. When he announced that he was going to retire, I immediately, my antenna went up and I started talking to Colonel Fitzgerald about possibly staying on in Wentworth, and I'm very pleased to announce that he will be our New York students next year, and is going to be a contributor, I hope, hard to the future of Wentworth Military Academy and College. But I want to officially recognize and thank Colonel Fitzgerald for all of his stalwart work on behalf of our cadets. So thank you, Mayor.
If I could have all of the newly commissioned second lieutenants and cadets back in their seats, please. Second Lieutenant John Ramos, join us on the stage, please. United States Congress Certificate of Commendation presented to Second Lieutenant John Menjola Ramos in recognition of his distinction as being the first Northern Mariana Island resident to graduate from the Wentworth Military College, Lexington, Missouri, May 19, 2011. Congressman Sadlin, Member of Congress. Colonel Emory.
We have come almost to the close of this ceremony, and as you can see this morning, we've had a great opportunity to recognize the graduates. I can't begin with congratulating each of you that are graduates of college and high school, and also our civilian students. We again, we congratulate you and ask that let's give them another round of applause. One of the notes I'd like to make note of this morning is today is Armed Services Day, Armed Forces Day. We'd like to thank all those that are present today that have served our nation in the military. And words like appreciation, dedication, devotion, selfless service, dignity, professionalism, patriotism, liberty, preparedness, and honor come to mind as we think of each of you. So this morning we would like all of the men and women that currently or that have served in our armed forces, if you would please stand and be recognized this morning. on behalf of all of us, we appreciate very much your service. Again, this morning, as we did last night, we would like to thank all the parents, families, all those of you that have come and supported, and I know it's a proud moment for you and also for us as we close out this school year. The final part of our ceremony this morning is to have our final flag ceremony. So just a couple of notes of what we'll do in the next 5 or 10 minutes to prepare for that. If you were sitting in chairs on the floor, we're going to ask you to find a place up in the bleachers. We will come and clear off the chairs on the floor, and the floor will come back out and form high school and college graduates for their service. So we will do that at this time, and then we will proceed as we go forward with the ceremony. Thank you very much.